After a decade, how is Harrisburg University faring? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Dr. Mel Chiavelli. He is the president of Harrisburg University of Science and Technology. Thanks so much for being with us.
Hi, Jill. Thanks for having me.
This is actually the 10th anniversary of the founding of the university,
Yep.
but let's talk about some very humble beginnings. This was actually a university that was chartered a decade ago. You had a faculty of 3. You didn't have any students. You didn't have any facilities. But today you have more than 100 graduates. You have 1,000 students enrolled. But talk to us about those humble beginnings.
Well, we 3 of us sat on the 9th floor of the Kunkel building at the corner of 3rd and Market Street. It's a building that has, by the way, the oldest certified elevator in the city of Harrisburg. And we were stuck in it about once a week. Someone or another of us was on our way up, and we had some interesting conversations. It was a little bit like the Wild West in the sense that we'd sit down and say, well, what do we need to do to start this university? And we'd have a question to talk about, and somebody at the table would say, what does the university policy manual have to say? And we'd say, well, we don't have a university policy manual. Well, that's the first thing, we better write a university policy manual. And then we got some curricular consultants in, and it was heady times. It was a lot of fun to have a blank piece of paper.
A blank piece of paper, but the idea behind it was to really meet the needs, to meet the demands of a workforce, a growing workforce when it came to specific things related to science, technology, engineering, and math. How did you work to meet those needs?
Well, the one thing that was noticed by the community, actually, this was a project that grew out of a study called Envision the Capital Region back in 1999, and by 2001, December 2001, when we got started, it was obvious that high growth industries were going to be hiring people, but those people that were going to be hiring were definitely going to have post-secondary education in a science area, whether that was an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. This region was exporting talent outside the state of Pennsylvania, and it was exporting talent in science and technology to either Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, where there's a Carnegie Mellon and a Drexel where students could study in science and technology fields. There was no science and technology focused institution in central Pennsylvania. And that did not augur well for the strategic development of a workforce that would allow this region to be a player in a 21st century economy. So we set out to design a curriculum that actually focused on science and technology, that was to engage the corporate community in the development of that curriculum, and therefore allow our students to be connected to the corporate community as early as possible in their careers and ultimately be employed. So sort of strategic development of a workforce. We have in our region here an outstanding community college that does remarkable work on workforce development of incumbent workers. People who have jobs that want to up their skills. And so our mission was not that, but the strategic development, long-term development of a workforce that would support that industry in this area.
And now that you've gone from a staff of 3 from the very beginning to now 81, and you have 1,000 students enrolled at this point, how do these relationships currently work? Where do you stand today in terms of student success?
Well, each of our students is required to do 3 project/internships during the course of their 120 credit undergraduate degree. And those projects are in fact what ultimately results in employment for our students. We've had extremely high success rate in placing our students upon graduation in science and technology fields. And a lot of that has grown out of the fact that as juniors, sometimes sophomores, they begin working with a corporate partner that we have. Hershey, New World Pasta, McCormick Spice, Gannett Fleming, Penn National Insurance, Highmark, and so forth. All of those places provide such opportunities for our students.
Thanks so much for being with us. We've been talking with Dr. Mel Chiavelli. I'm Jill Horner.